Hey guys, Chad Thornhill here, also known as Dr. Ninja Dad Chad. And I've been thinking about making this video for a while for a couple of reasons. One is there's been so many people who have supported me on this journey to becoming an American Ninja Warrior. And not everyone knows the full story, so I kind of wanted to tell the story, but I also thought this would be kind of a cool thing to have out there in the interwebs for maybe my grandkids to see one day and see how cool their granddad was before he got old. So how did I end up becoming an American Ninja Warrior? As many of you know, my full-time job is a theology professor, and I earned a PhD. I finished that in 2013 after about a 5.5 year journey, not including all the stuff that came before the PhD program, and a lot of bad eating and fitness habits developed in that time by sheer necessity of needing to survive. And so when I finished my PhD, I wanted to get in shape, and I've been a fan of the show since it was, like many people, on G4 TV, the original Japanese Ninja Warrior. And I happened to see a commercial after watching American Ninja Warrior one night that said, "Hey, do you want to do this? Here's how you apply." And I never thought about that as like this is a thing people can actually apply to do. And that kind of became my motivation for getting in shape. I've always been involved in athletics, so like played soccer and softball leagues and that sort of thing, but nothing ever to the intensity and the level of commitment that's required for something like American Ninja Warrior. So I started a journey. I had gained about 25 or 30 pounds through my bad eating habits and survival tactics, and it took me somewhere between 6 months and a year to kind of get to a weight where I felt like I could start building strength. So I did a lot of HIIT exercises and just really tried to develop a consistent routine. Ninja Warrior is what got me into rock climbing, which is one of the major ways that I train, usually once or twice a week. I try to climb at our gym on campus where I teach, and there's a lot of similarities between the two sports. So I started climbing, and I started kind of hanging some stuff up in our basement. So I got like cannonballs and nunchucks. For those who know ninja, you kind of know what those things are, and started trying to develop some upper body strength and some endurance. But there were no ninja gyms anywhere within a 3 to 4 hour drive of where we live in Virginia when I started this journey. So my first time seeing Ninja Warrior obstacles, I drove up to Maryland to Alternate Routes, may she rest in peace, the original Alternate Routes gym for this new thing that was starting called the National Ninja League. It was season 1, and never been in a ninja gym, never been on a ninja course. I signed up, get to this competition, and to be honest, super intimidated. Okay, I get there, Jeff Britton is there, okay, Mike Bernardo is there, all of these, Chris DeGangi, all of these folks I've seen on TV excelling at this Ninja Warrior thing, and they're warming up and they're flying all over the place, and I'd never done any of this. I was totally overwhelmed by how much harder all this stuff actually was than the way it worked out in my head with the stuff I had been doing in my basement. And so I knew if I really wanted to achieve this goal that I had set, it was going to take quite a bit more work. One of the really amazing things about that competition, though, is so National Ninja League doesn't really do that often anymore. But at this competition, Stage one was the NNL competition, but then they had multiple, multiple stages, multiple rounds of the competition after the first one. So it was kind of an all-day thing. Everyone's just hanging out. And I didn't, make stage two, being my first competition, and again, being completely unprepared. And I don't remember who, but somebody got injured, was unable to do the next stage. And I was sitting next to a ninja from South Florida, and he was on the bubble. And he was like, I'm so bummed. Like, I've never made it to that round in a competition before, and like really wanted that to happen, but I don't want to take it from that guy. And I realized in that moment that there was something different about this sport. And being a part of that event, it really is the mindset of the ninja is it's you against the obstacle course, and it doesn't matter who else is there. It's you against the obstacle course, doing your best, pushing yourself, challenging yourself, overcoming, and everyone else wants you to have your best day. Like, that's the amazing thing about this sport is people want everyone else to have their best day. They of course want it for themselves, but it's really not a sport where you're competing against one another. It's you against the course. And that, moments like that, as I became involved in the community, really pulled me deeper into it. So I think the next competition I went to was my first Ultimate Backyard Warrior, which actually used to be for those of you that know UBW, used to be in Mike Cook's backyard. He had a course, built around the trees in his backyard, and just had a phenomenal experience. Again, ate a big slice of humble pie. I think I went out on the fourth obstacle maybe in that competition. Just was not nearly strong enough and did not know enough technique to really be able to do well. So hanging, swinging, pull up, that type of stuff I was fine with, but anything with dynamic movement I hadn't ever practiced. So I went to competitions to learn ninja skills, which is maybe, not the ideal set of circumstances. Maybe 2 or 3 years into my journey now, and had been contacting all kinds of gyms throughout the Lynchburg area to try to start some type of a ninja program here and do whatever I could, having been to different gyms, traveled around, seen a little bit of the sort of the backside of how it works. Do whatever I could to help that start. So, CrossFit gyms, gymnastics facilities, climbing gyms, anybody where I thought there might be a place for ninja in their business. I was reaching out and happened to get some positive response from Elite Athletics. And some of you who know me from that gym. So the original owner of the gym took a little bit of convincing. She, I think, saw the niche, and so little by little we started kind of building more and building more and building more, and that gave me the opportunity not only to train more, which was one of my motivations for getting ninja started in Lynchburg, but to see a community develop here. So thrilled with how the gym has taken off here in town. Really grateful to be able to build obstacles and kind of contribute some to the vision of what's going on there. But year after year after year, not getting called for the show. So I had 2 callbacks as a part of the process where they were like, yeah, we're kind of interested. We want more of this. We want more of that, to try to get my application better. And it just never panned out. So the year before COVID hit, I submitted my application for season 12 and said, okay, this is the last year. So this was my 6th year applying. Wasn't intending to walk away from the sport or competing or training, but there's a lot of mental energy that it takes to stay ready, right? You're in this cycle where you have to develop the application, submit it usually by the end of December. Then you're waiting for callbacks, trying to keep dates open, hoping that somehow you get a chance. Season 12, one more time, put a lot of effort into the video. Thought I had a really great video, best video I'd put together. Had so much fun making it. Shout out to Ben Whitlow, who helped me a lot with that application. And it was a blast to make, and I thought I really kind of captured who I am well, and all the rest. Then COVID hits, right? And where COVID hits, and Ninja Warrior on the first night of filming for season 12, everything's set up in LA, everything gets shut down. So they pull back, they recalibrate. They had not finished calling our region yet. They had started calling our region when all of that came down. So I don't know if I would have gotten called for season 12 or not. But they went with a very limited cast. Instead of about 600 or so ninjas, I think they had about 140. And so a lot of people who got called initially didn't ended up getting uncalled. Along the journey, got to see two of my best friends in the sport that I train with, Josiah Singleton and Ben Whitlow, get their chance to compete. Josiah competing in season 11, and Ben competing in that small cast, the COVID year of season 12. So season 13 rolls around, and given what happened in season 12, I tell myself, okay, one more shot, right? This is the last year. And I really meant it. I meant it for season 6, and if COVID hadn't happened, I probably wouldn't apply it again. 7 years, this is the last shot. 7's sort of that mystical lucky number, right? So throw my name in the hat, put in an application, put in I think a pretty good video. I didn't think it was as good as season 12's, but I thought it was a good video. And I based my video, which I'll probably post at some point once I'm allowed to do so. 7 reasons for 7 years, right? So I've applied 7 times. I gave them 7 reasons why they should give me a call. And lo and behold, we're having, maybe seems weird, we're having a Valentine's dance, a family Valentine's dance at our house. Our church usually does that event, and again, COVID does a father-daughter dance around Valentine's Day. And given that the whole pandemic was still going on, we said, well, let's just do one at home. We'll do it with our whole family, not just me and the girls, but our son and my wife as well. So we've got everything set up. I'm dressed up for our Valentine's dance. Eating dinner before we started dancing, and my phone's in the kitchen, and my wife says, someone from California is calling you. I was like, what? So answer the phone. It's Peter. They invite me to come compete, and then over the next couple of weeks, find out Josiah got called, and Ben got called. And so the 3 of us, these 2 guys that I train with and have spent a lot of time with at the gym and outside of the gym, all now have this opportunity to compete on American Ninja Warrior Season 13. And the waiting for 7 years, and I mean this completely sincerely, at that point, it's like totally worth it, because the experience now is amplified by the fact that I get to share it with these 2 guys. So that's a little bit of the story of kind of the proceedings. Along the way, had my own kind of major obstacles that I had to overcome. So in 2016, I think it was, maybe it was 17. In the fall, got this terrible shooting pain up my spine and my neck, all the way down into my shoulder, all the way down my right arm. I wasn't training at the time. It wasn't like a training injury. It could have been overtraining, maybe that led up to it. I don't know. But I was laid out, like could not move my neck any more than this for weeks. Spent literally 2 weeks in bed. The worst pain I've ever felt in my life, like the kind of pain I would not wish on anyone. Finally get in with a doctor, finally get an MRI, which is really, really uncomfortable to do when you have something in your spine messed up. Find out I had a herniated cervical disc C5, C6. Go to physical therapy, and fortunately we had a friend who got me in with an amazing therapy team who really knew what they were doing. And after a lot of patience, a lot of pain, a lot of hard work, was able to kind of overcome that injury. Once the pain kind of subsided, the scary thing about nerve stuff is your muscles just don't work. So there was several weeks I could not take. I've been doing Ninja Warrior training for like 3 years. I could do probably 25 pull-ups, without breaking a sweat at this point. Could not take a full gallon of milk and pour it. Like my arm would just drop because that nerve was crushed. Your nerves are what tell your muscles to work, and when your nerves aren't working, your muscles aren't working. I was told by the first doctor I saw, you will never be as strong as you are right now again, and you'll probably need surgery. And the moment he said that, I thought, nope, you're wrong. I'm not going to have surgery, and I'm going to be stronger. And it took a long time to get there, but I can literally say I'm stronger today than I was when that happened. Fast forward a year later, I wake up one night, terrible burning pain, which I know now is nerve pain because I've felt that down my left shoulder blade. Start to experience over the course of the next couple of weeks, numbness in both of my arms, my hands. Hands would fall asleep during the day. Have this, the best way I've seen it described is like it feels like there are ants crawling under your skin. It's like an itch you can't scratch. And I know there's some nerve issue going on again. So I'm thinking, great, spine is taking another curve for the worst on me, and takes me 2 months to get in with a doctor. I see somewhere between 10 and 15 doctors, neurologists, spinal specialists, UVA, here, there, everywhere, and nobody seems to have answers. We don't know what's going on. You look like you're fine. Your MRIs look great. And I'm still having this numbness in my hands, and kind of getting pretty freaked out at this point because nobody knows what's going on. I'm able to get back in with the same therapy team who helped me the first time. And my therapist says, I think this is thoracic outlet syndrome. So, okay, that's a new one for me. So, start doing some reading. Sounds familiar. So some of the numbness tingling is positional. If I move certain ways, it aggravates it more. They thankfully are able to help me over. Don't have a diagnosis other than from my therapist, but they're able to work with me, get me back on my feet again. So a little over a year after the first thoracic outlet syndrome bout, I have another flare up, and I know what it is this time. Go back to my therapist. They're able to kind of get me back on my feet. Then COVID hits. Finally, get a diagnosis from a doctor at UVA of you have thoracic outlet syndrome. And so part of the challenge of the last 2 years has been managing that. It has changed the way I've trained. It's made me train less frequently. But over the last year and a half, since I've been out of therapy, I've been keeping up with my therapy homework, which I found is really, really important. Doing a lot of accessory work. And I've felt stronger than I've ever been. Like literally the strongest I've ever been. So I don't know what season 14 might hold. But I know that me and Ninja Warrior have some unfinished business. And so I appreciate you guys being along for the ride. I appreciate you if you listened to this whole thing and took the time to hear a little bit of my story. And I hope you'll tune in on June 21st. My run might not get aired, but to see if I make the cup and show up on your televisions on NBC.